and then I'll go here. If you remember what we've done, so everything I've done in the past, I will start using them now, assuming that you already know them. So if you don't know them, please, if you're on YouTube, you can always watch at your own pace, or maybe you can go back later and check some of those previous parts so you can understand where we are coming from. So because we have done quite a lot already. So I go to series, and then I step it by 1, and the stop value is 13040 102, let's say 1024 columns. Okay. So I've generated random matric numbers for students. The next thing I want to do is that I want to just give them random scores between, let me say, like the worst student in the class. Let's say the worst student in the class scored like 30 over 100. So this is like matric number. So this is matric number. This is score. So the worst student in the class, let's say like the worst student in the class scored, let's say 30 over 100, and then the best student in the class scored 90 over 100. So there's a function on Excel called rand between. You can figure that out yourself. Sorry, I said 30 and 90. So, I mean, I don't have time to start thinking of numbers. So because I don't want the numbers to start changing, I will paste it back as values. Now, grade. So I want to know if they passed or they failed. So anybody that scores below 50 has failed. And anybody that scores above 50 has passed. I mean, for my own university where I graduated from University of Lagos, that is actually very particular when they are grading those general GNS, we call it our own GSTs. Some people call it GNS courses. It's either you pass or you fail. There's no A, B, C, or D. So let's assume that it's a general course. So you either pass or fail. So in Excel, there's something we call conditional formulas. So that one is beyond the scope of this class, diving very specific into how the formula works, but I'll just apply it just for the general formula sake and point to some things there. So now I'll press on if. Now there is something I want you to observe. Please pay attention at this point. Please pay attention at this point. There's something you need to see here. If you look at my screen, you will see that value if true and value if false is inside a square bracket. I'll tell you the meaning of that square bracket. And it is not only for this formula, like by the time you start working with different functions, you just start observing. I mean, it's not the program, actually, it's not the programming aspect. Like whenever you start working with functions, like just start observing for square brackets. You see that there are some functions that have square brackets, there are some functions that do not have square brackets. Now, this is what it means. Whenever you see a square bracket on Excel, it means that that part of the function is optional. So it means that, like, for instance, there is already a default value. It means that whether you put in something or you do not put in anything there, Excel already has something that is the default for that part of the formula. So in this place, if you look at this part here, so it means that in this if statement, if this if has 3 parts, it has logical test, value if it is true, and value if it is false. It means that if I type in just logical tests in this formula, it is enough for this formula to work. So whether I type in value if true or whether I don't type in value if true, it doesn't matter. The formula will still work because there's already a default value in it. So I want to just grade this student. So I'm saying that if the score is greater than or equal to 50, I say that the value if it is true. So you can see that as I press the comma, you see that that bold has left logical test, that's gone to value if true. So that is also for you to know which part of your formula you are currently working on. And you can click and go back to wherever part you are working on. So value if true, remember I said the way you can put in a text into a formula is by using a quotation mark. So I'll say pass. and the value, if it is false, I'll write fail. So enter. And then I can just do that. So this is just a way, and then I've graded all of them. So I know the people that failed, and then I know the people that passed very, very easily, instead of having to, write it one by one. And then, another thing that, another reason why you should be using formula is that let us assume that something now happened in the future, and then the score now changed. Maybe the lecturer did say, oh, I made a mistake, oh, bring your script. And then one thing changed, and change the score because you didn't use the formula in the first place, you would have some inconsistency. So by having a practice of using formula, it's a way of avoiding inconsistencies in Excel. It's a way of avoiding inconsistencies.